Access to live information was a primary benefit of Epicor's ERP for Steve Kopelchak.
Things that was number one, was that ability to get information out of the system. It's live information. You're going to see something show up there as it happens, so that you can take care of that issue immediately.
Before, Epic's ERP system was comprised of 5 separate systems, or 5 islands, as Steve liked to say.
But when you have a problem, all of a sudden now the vendors are all pointing fingers at each other. That's ACPAC's fault. That's, well, we wrote a patch. Well, their patch broke this. That's why it's not writing back. So every time there was an issue with data, with the software, it was a nightmare dealing with the VARs. And they all want to charge you $150 an hour to fix a problem that they say is somebody else's fault. Well, because we had those 5 systems, none of them were connected. I mean, they were connected, but it wasn't live. Epicor is live. I can make an inventory transaction at my desk right now, and everybody can immediately see that inventory transaction.
With 5 islands, the information wasn't live, and it could take half a day to sync. Here's an example of what could happen.
So we have 1,000 pieces come in, and that's good for a month, but they identify 800 of them are no good and need to be sent back. So they put 200 out into production, and the 800 just sit there. Oh, didn't I tell you? Whereas with Epicor, you can immediately tag that in the system, say they're not conforming. It moves them into a different bucket or under a different shell. All of a sudden, purchasing can't see that anymore. Sales can't see it. Manufacturing can't see it. Accounting can see it, so it's still valued inventory. So it's not like you're throwing away money. But now, until somebody deals with the vendor to get that returned and get a credit for it, the MRP system, when it runs, only recognizes 200 of usable. And it'll say, well, if your minimum is 1,000, we need to order another 800 right away while that's being dealt with.
Okay.
Where you can build dashboards from basic queries of the database. They allow you to use rules, colors. So just looking at that information display, you can tell which ones are the priority, because the red ones are the ones that missed their production date. So they should be done by now. They shouldn't be on there. When they're completed, they turn green. When they ship, they disappear. They should be providing information to make decisions. So now all of a sudden the supervisor can be doing his job to make sure he gets over to the warehouse to know, so that they know that that needs to be expedited, because that sucker needs to be done today. It's got to ship in the morning. You know, otherwise, who would know? Come in the next morning and be like, hey, how come that's not done?